Good morning, this is Mr. McMurray, and here we go. We talked about acid and base notes before. Um, we talked about color dyes called the indicators that change colors. We use those in the lab that we did. If they change colors, called pH paper, and that tells you the different ones. Whereas we had litmus paper, which only turned red or blue. Red for acid, blue for a base. All right. Now, when we said an acid, which is something that gives off hydrogen ions, is added to a base, all right, they do what we call neutralize each other because they make two compounds that are neutral. They cancel each other out, basically. So instead of being acidic or basic, they become neutral. All right. Normally, since you have an H and an OH that goes together, you have two hydrogens and one oxygen, which is another way of saying water. So they form water, which is neutral, and some kind of a salt. All right, not a battery, just a salt. All right. Anyhow, so for example, here we have hydrochloric acid, which is stomach acid, very strong, nasty stuff. We have sodium hydroxide. Okay, sodium hydroxide is basically Drano or pipe cleaner, very nasty stuff. Okay, both of them are pretty nasty. But if you mix them together in the right amounts and the right strengths, they will cancel each other, and we will have a double replacement. Okay, the hydrogen takes the Na's place. All right, so we end up with NaCl, which is salt, which is a type of salt. Now, just for the record, it doesn't have to be table salt. It could have been potassium chloride or sodium sulfate or something else, but it would be a salt. And then the other one, HOH, which is another way of saying water. Okay, and these two would be neutral. And so I could take these two dangerous chemicals, mix them together, and if I did it just right, I could gargle with them. Would I recommend it? No. But technically, if you did that right, then that would work. All right, so this is called a neutralization of water. You're adding an acid. You may want to write that down. This is an acid. Right here is a base. You end up with a salt of some sort, and you end up with water. All right, so that's basically a neutralization reaction. Now, the other thing is, and we did this in the lab, the titration lab, you can find out how strong an acid or a base is by seeing how much of the opposite needs to be added to it to neutralize it. Okay, so for example, if we have an acid, like say soda pop, and we had a indicator, so we can tell if it's neutral or not, okay, then we could add base to it until it neutralizes. If one container took, say, 20 drops, and the other container took 10 drops to neutralize it, we would know that the one that had 20 drops was a lot stronger. Now, this works better than pH paper because remember, pH paper just goes from one number to the next. And each time it goes from one number to the next, it could be 10 times as strong. So there could be a lot of difference in between them. If you do it with the drops of acid or base to neutralize the base or the acid, then you can be more precise, okay? And the one that takes more drops of, say, the acid to neutralize a base or base to neutralize an acid, then we know that that meant it was originally stronger, and the one that took less would have been less strong. So it's a pretty good way to compare them. Now, it still doesn't tell us exactly how strong it was as far as pH, like 7.35, but it does tell us which one's stronger and how much stronger. So very useful for that, all right? And that's basically it. That's called titration. We didn't say that, though. There we go. This process is called titration. So when we titrate something, that's what we're doing. We're taking an acid and adding a base to it until it neutralizes to see how strong it is. Or we could have a base, like a cleaning supply, and what we did in lab, and we put the indicator so it turned purple, and then we just added vinegar, which is an acid, until it neutralized it and turned it back to clear. All right, and that is titration, and that's basically it. All right, there is a test online today on Friday. All right, hopefully you watched this first before you took the test. But on the test, it is open notes, so you can use your notes on it. You do not have to log in or access code or anything like that, so you can just go ahead and type in the answers on the CAMI document. All right, have a good day and have a great weekend and stay warm.